Hi, Mrs. Dunn. Thank you for taking this interview with Regis Student today. I have a few questions that I would like to ask you. How long have you been at WPS and what grades and subjects have you taught?
This is my 6th year at Windermere Preparatory School, and I have taught 7th and 8th grade language arts.
What is the best experience that you have had as a teacher, and what is your worst?
Ooh, my worst, I'm going to tell you first, and I'll save the best for last. My worst was I had just had knee surgery about 7 years ago, and I was walking in my classroom at my old school, and for some reason the floor was slippery, and I slipped and fell in front of all of my students. That was probably the worst, but my students were amazing, and they came over and they immediately picked me back up again, which was so kind of them, but I was so embarrassed. So that was probably my worst. My best experience as a teacher, I don't know if I necessarily can narrow that down. I think coming into work every day and actually seeing the students, and then when they understand something and they have that aha moment, that's probably the best. I mean, I love what I do. I love seeing my kids every day.
What qualities do you think makes a great student?
I think a couple of qualities that actually make a fantastic student are the willingness to learn or to want to learn. Coming in here with an open mind and listening to what the teacher has to say, and also putting in their own 2 cents and their own thoughts. So the willingness to learn, and I think also having a positive attitude. That would be my top 2.
As a language arts teacher, what tips can you give to students that you think might improve their writing?
Take your time. Realize that you cannot have a perfect piece of writing on your first try. Writing is a process, and it's a process that never ends. You can always go back and improve on what you've put down on paper. But realize that and don't get frustrated if we tell you, you can do it again, do it again.
What do you consider to be the most challenging project or assignment that you give to your 8th graders?
It would have to be the band book essay, because it's very difficult for the 8th graders to decide whether they think their book should be banned from the school or if this should be available for everyone to read. A lot of students go on the fence and they say, well, what if we put a rating on it? What if we do this? Unfortunately, you have to make up your mind. Either yes, it should be banned, or no, it should be available for everybody.
When I was asking other people what they would like me to ask you, something that came up was the importance of word web and why you think we should study it. What are your thoughts on this?
Word web vocabulary is really what it is in general, is extremely important. Word web, though, is a fantastic way for you to learn how to break words apart so that you can understand words as you continue to move on through your education. That's why we study prefixes, suffixes, and root words. It makes it a little bit easier than me just saying, here's 30 or 40 words that I want you to memorize the definitions for. Actually breaking the words apart, I think you actually remember them and are able to continue to break words apart as you go into high school and even into college.
What suggestions can you give to 7th graders who want to prepare themselves for success in your class or in 8th grade in general?
Be ready to work. Be ready to have a good time. And 8th grade's a fun year. A lot goes on. It goes by really fast. And I've told my 8th graders, my current 8th graders, my 8th graders in the past, to stop, smell the roses, because your 8th grade year is going to be over and you're going to be done with middle school. And the next thing you know, you're going to be in high school, and then high school's going to blow by and you're going to be in college. So you need to stop and smell the roses and enjoy every moment.
How do you think the school is preparing 8th graders for high school?
Oh, that's a fantastic question, Serena. I believe our 8th grade does prepare the 8th graders for high school. With the work that we give them, with the lessons that you're learning in all of your classes, and also your 8th grade teachers behind the scenes also communicate with the high school teachers to see exactly what it is that we can do to help the 8th graders have a smoother transition into high school.
As an 8th grader, I have noticed that the TAP, or turning a page presentation, is a major project in 8th grade. Can you explain this project and why it is important?
So the Turning a Page project is the final exam for math, science, social studies, and language arts. And it is, in a sense, a dissertation about what you've learned in the 8th grade. And it's a wonderful opportunity to get away from the normal final exams, and it allows you to actually be creative and to take what you learn in school and apply it to an activity or something that you enjoy. And it also shows you that stuff that you're learning in school can relate to everyday life.
What are some tips that you can give to 8th graders preparing for their TAP presentations?
Follow the guidelines, the rules, or the things that we ask you to do, the checklist. Ask for help. Realize that you are going to hit a wall and that you're going to do an awesome job.
Can you reflect back to when you were a student and share with us a story or experience that you think would be helpful to students today?
Yes, and I tell students all the time, I'm horrible at math. I never was a good math student. And I remember my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Twaddell, telling me, and I've used this example before with other students, that in math and in school and in life in general, it's important that you build a solid foundation. And if you build your foundation out of marshmallows, if you continue to try to stack information on top, all of it's just going to sink down. That you have to have a good, solid, concrete foundation. So come to school, learn. If you don't understand something, ask for assistance.
And since you were a student, what tips can you give to your 8th grade students that you think might better prepare them for high school?
Go to your teachers. Ask them for help. That's why we're here. And I think that was something that I was always afraid to do as a student. I don't want to bother my teacher. I don't want them to think I'm not paying attention in class. Ask them for help. That's why we wake up every morning, and that's why we step foot in our classroom. So,
thank you so much for taking this
welcome.
interview with me today.
Thank you, Serena.